welcome to the, I don't know, SLV Variety Show. So I'll be introducing, my team will be introducing the acts or the whatever it is. So we'll range from little to big, young to old, lots of talent to more talent. Okay, so we have a full bill, so we'll get right to it. But before we do, hey Eli.
Hey, Buzz.
Why should you stay indoors when it's raining, cats and dogs?
Because you might step in a poodle.
All right. Now, Jocelyn and Bear. This is serious.
It's a good show.
I think somebody's phone is going off, by the way, so maybe everyone could check real quick.
Dad,
Take your medicines.
silent mode. Silent right on. Oh, yeah.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use in crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just
Hey Eli.
Of course.
Of course. What do you get when you cross a teddy bear with a skunk?
Winnie the PU.
And our next number is poem by Ava, but read by Mom. Wherever Molly is.
I'm here.
Ah. Yeah, please.
This is actually not a poem. It's Ava's college application essay from 2 years ago. And I thought it was about Shadow Lake Village. It's a short essay, don't worry, it's not the big one. But I kept suggesting that she email it out to the community, share it to the community, and she didn't want me to do that, but she did say that I could read it here. So I will read it. I have yet to read it without crying, so please forgive me if I don't make it through. Years ago, my neighbor Donna gave me a sunflower, saying, "A joy shared is a joy doubled." This is one of my guiding principles, and it's just one of the myriad of things I've learned from my neighbors. At Shadow Lake Village, we share spaces and time, but not income. I've always been able to find friendship and belonging just outside my front door. I used to play outdoors and return at sundown with a Band-Aid that wasn't from my parents. The neighborhood kept an eye on me through my gleeful mud creations and umbrella escapades. Now I sip tea on my older neighbor's porch and pretend to like pickled onions at the community dinner. In my community, I have friends whose ages span decades. I recently helped the littlest ones fold paper airplanes and taught the older kids the Fifth Amendment as they built a constitution for their forest fort. When Donna was dying, 30 neighbors gathered under the string lights outside her window. We sang long past sundown, resting our heads on one another, sharing lyrics and shedding tears. Although Donna was unconscious for 3 days, she woke up right before we sang. My neighbors taught me how to celebrate safely through a pandemic and how to resolve conflict. I can cook a meal for 40 people, and I still sit cross-legged in the dirt with the kids. Our community shares not just joy, but also tears and stories and soup in the winter.
Hey, Eli.
That's my name, don't wear it out.
Why do bats live in gigantic groups?
To hang out with their friends.
Hey, you get what you pay for. All right, so we've got the Compton Ensemble
Okay.
and several songs. So take it away, Glenn and crew.
They do this at home all the time.
Quinn can show you.
I think you wanna try? I think you hum.
There you go.
Can you?
Ready?
Can you?
No.
Okay.
Quinn knows.
Okay. Hey, Eli.
He was.
Hey, what do you get when you cross a centipede with a talkity parrot?
A walkie-talkie.
Hey! All right, so piano.
Oh.
Oh, Cora's doing it?
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
great. Sorry, I was going to.
Okay, that was an
skip her.
interlude.
Cora, come on up and do your thing. That's good.
You.
Everybody said how's Clark, you're next, wherever you are.
There we go.
Are we sure it's Clark?
I know.
Big butt. Big butt, big butt.
I'm going to need some. John, can you help me move this piano?
Where's it going?
Just around the corner.
Like 90 degrees?
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Oh.
Just a second, just a second.
Nobody SLVers is taking move piece.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. All right. Oh, good. Hey Eli.
So,
Hey, what do you do when you cross a hound dog with a hen?
poached eggs.
Right. All right, now we have a whole medley from Belle Bemis's. So I don't know
Okay, they're
how you
coming.
want to attack this.
Yeah, you're on it. There's one. Oh, no, he's saying. Oh.
Lisa. Oh,
You want me what's first? Will Sage's first. Will Sage's first.
my brother's like you.
Let me give you these.
My brother's got that.
Actually, it's not the same.
The camera.
Good.
Which one is the best?
Reverb.
This one's Old Joe Clump.
Okay.
So, Old Joe Clump. Clump.
Living on the road, my friend, is gonna keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron, your breath's as hard as kerosene. We're your mama's only boy, but her favorite one it seems. She began to cry when you said goodbye, sank into your dreams. Pancho was a bandit boy, his horse as fast as polished steel. Wore his gun outside his hands for all the honest world to feel. Pancho met his match, you know, on the deserts down in Mexico. Nobody heard his dying words, but that's the way it goes. But that's the way it goes. All the federalists say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Lefty, he can't sing the blues all night long like he used to. The dust poncho bit down south ended up in Lefty's mouth. The day they laid poor Pancho low, Lefty split for Ohio, where he got the bread to go. There ain't nobody knows. All the federalists say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Poets tell how Pancho fell. Lefty's living in a cheap hotel. The desert's quiet and Cleveland's cold. And so the story ends, we're told. Pancho needs your prayers, it's true. But save a few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to do. And now he's growing old. All the federalists say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip
fiddle.
Did you want to do the song with Will Sage? Sorry.
This is Get to My Land.
Okay.
Alright, so you're gonna play the first time and then Cedar's gonna play the second time, is that right?
You want both?
You're gonna do the first time and then he's gonna play second.
Oh.
Is that it?
Right down.
Oh, well.
I think high Eli is in order. And I've been planning this since Cora did hers.
Oh, wait. Gotta hold on, Eli. Hold on.
We have one more Bellman song, sorry, we have a lot of songs. John and I are gonna do one real quick. It's called Julianne Johnson.
Okay, I got you. I'm back on track.
Back
I'm back on track. I don't know where he went though. Oh, he went to
I think you went out the front door.
Too many songs. Alright, so this is Julianne Johnson. We're done.
That was great. That was great. Well, hey Eli.
Cheerio.
So, what happened when the bullfrog broke his leg?
He was unhappy.
Right. You can't argue with that. All right, Mr. John, we're ready for you. Woo. Let's see. Can I help at all?
So they're all gone now, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but the last month of October, the Brown farm was full of hay bales. And so on the subject of hay bales, late in the fall and long overdue for a trim, the farm has finally been hayed. The field lies shorn like a sheet, the grass cut and neatly packaged in massive round bales. They sit singly and in groups scattered atop the ridge, awaiting to be pushed aside, orderly collected for future consumption in pagan midnight runs of adults who really should be sleeping. The short grass underfoot, stubbly like a beard. The groundhog dens, hidden all summer, now exposed like youthful pockmarks. Yes, I'll miss the dewy morning spider universe, but I like the field in its shorn state best. Glorious in its unabashed repose in the red light and long shadows, the boys and I climbed to the crest, looking for just the right bale to perch atop and watch as the sun takes the final curtain call. Rain on the roof. Rain on the roof lasts only a second, then several hours later you wonder where the time has gone. But what's time in conversation or the crisp edge of learning someone's laughter? Sharing our stories, we slowly circle on the thermals of the wood stove, wondering what a life without such moments would be. The owls fly patrol as the sentry cats prowl outside the door. The night wants to talk along the ridge, send words out into the black. Let them bellow into the ring parading around the moon. Laying here, we listen to this playful banter, eavesdropping on the nocturnal exchange with the giddiness of children at a slumber party.
Hey, Eli,
You again. This time
why did the chicken cross the playground?
to get to the other slide.
I just read them, I don't write. Okay, we have a trombone trio.
The
Trifecta.
first one we have.
Well, it's a duet. First,
yeah.
first is Asher. You'll recognize it as it comes along. Asher, then a duet, then Leela. Or as I like to call her, Solette.
Take the mask off.
Do you need this?
Do you need the stand?
Okay.
Asher, do you need this stand?
Do you need the stand?
Oh. Okay.
Asher, could you tell us what it is?
Yeah. When he gets there.
You'll figure it out.
Just do it.
You're allowed to do all this. You're a musician.
Yeah.
You were a jazz player for how long?
Yeah, sit down. What do I know?
I should take the mask off.
Yeah, take the mask
Okay.
off.
All right, this is
Wait.
no. All right. Yay. He's gonna sit down.
Eli.
What is this time? A knock knock joke?
No, I want to just ask you, why did the little pig go straight home after school?
To do his ham work.
Who else is on this thing?
Everybody.
Everybody.
No, it's the old roster, etc.
So Anna and Ava, why don't you all get over there so you're ready?
This is your spot, Mom. Okay. 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 So this is a poem entitled Shadow Lake Village Is. This is a unique poem. It was collaboratively written by the residents here at the invitation of Stephen LaCarty, a former resident, as a parting gift to us. He invited each of us to contribute a word, a phrase, a stanza, and he lovingly compiled it into the poem we are about to enact for you today. Ready?
Shadow Lake Village is
Extraordinarily ordinary.
home.
Green grass with children laughing. Flowers.
Flowers and bumblebees.
Bumblebees.
Shadow Lake Village is paradise for introverts.
Shadow Lake Village is the best neighborhood ever. We have so much fun in the woods and in the kids' room, a place with a magical forest full of flora and fauna and places for children to play.
Shadow Lake Village is kind of like college with a mortgage. Shadow Lake Village is home to countless treasures scattered along the forest floor. Mayapple, hepatica, and trillium, hickory nuts, beech nuts, and acorns, marzipan-scented millipedes, red F's, and tiny homes built for fairies.
Shadow Lake Village is home, after being away. Gray catbirds and Carolina wrens singing in the fruit trees.
It's my turn.
Shadow Lake Village is
Shared meals and muddy feet.
Shadow Lake Village is a landing pad and a launching pad. Well-intentioned people getting it right, getting it wrong, forgiving, and trying again. The power of many acting as one.
Yeah, big time.
Oh, it's me. I forgot. Shadow Lake Village is our attempt to be a supportive and interdependent community for those living here. Not utopia, but not utopia either.
Shadow Lake Village is my home. A community that gives you a reflection of what you put into it. A nice warm hug on a cold day, and a nice cool drink on a hot one. Welcome home, the best place to come home to.
Then there's one line left. Shadow Lake Village is where we live.
Eli.
I'm not here.
No. Answer this question. Why did the turkey try to skydive?
To prove he wasn't a chicken.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Oh, I want to sit with you, Clyde. I'm the next to you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
No. You know. Test. No. Is it on? No. I'm not good with this. Where'd Peter go?
I don't need it. Well, hello. Ah, there you
perfect.
go. Hey.
Yes.
This is a short story I wrote. I was invited to do a reading in Wellington about 12 years ago, and I didn't have any good short stories to read. You can't hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
You can. Barry, just give me a thumbs up. So this was written 12 years ago. I don't know if Kelly was pregnant with Asher, but certainly the anxiety of being a future parent drove the story forward and brought it into existence. So it's what I often think about when I think about kids. This is, the only thing I'll mention is there's a reference to a bird called a kia, which is a parrot in New Zealand that is an alpine parrot that squawks. So when you hear that word, that's what it's a reference to. This is called Year of Squid. The first one washed up on the eastern beach, a terrible red-colored monster left when the tide receded, its 8 arms and 2 tentacles stretched before it like a supplicant bound to some unknown god, its shivering tail, fins still touching the water. The giant squid's body was the length of a man, his arms twice that, its tentacles twice again. A crowd came to see it, the more courageous poking sticks at its arms to see them coil, the suckers attaching and releasing with an oozy suck. People from the university arrived and rolled the squid onto a gurney designed to move stranded pilot whales. It took 6 men to lift it, and the squid's arms were moving even as they shifted to the bed of the ute. A tentacle rose and touched Billy Morgan, caressing his bearded face in the same way a mother might to calm a colicky infant. A scientist said that it was a reflex action, the last firing of neurons from a dying brain. You were a little more than a year old then, just learning to walk. During the day, I would follow your teetering form as you moved around the house, holding my arms behind you so that I could catch you if you fell. Once your mother predicted that I would be cautious towards you, the overprotective parent. This was before you were born. One night she turned and asked me what kind of parent she would be. I told her that she'd be the one you'd go to in your moments of sorrow. You'll be the healer, I said. You'll be the one who gives comfort, you'll bandage his wounds, and promise him that everything will be okay. You won't leave her alone, she said. You'll protect her, you'll follow her wherever she goes so that nothing bad ever happens to her. We didn't know whether you'd be a boy or a girl, so we practiced each. We thought it would be wise to cover all the possibilities. From the news, we learned the scientific name of the animal Archaeoteuthis, and for a while, the washed-up squid was on the front page of the newspaper. Later, dissection was performed and shown on television. We saw the curve of its beak revealed under layers of subcutaneous muscle, the paddle-shaped ends of the 2 tentacles. They cut out its eyes, each one the size of a man's fist, and stored them in jars of formaldehyde. The scientists holding them explained that they were the most complicated optical organs on the planet, capable of seeing glints of chemical light in a world of permanent darkness. But I did not think about that. What I thought was, it was watching us. Your mother took the news of her diagnosis as well as could be expected, even mustering a smile when the oncologist told her how much time she had, the months and the weeks that were certain. I may be able to see her take her first steps, she said. She might say my name. Later, curled next to me on the bed, she told me that I would have to take on both roles. You'll have to heal her and protect her, she said, her arms wrapped around my side. You'll have to be both of us now. The second giant squid came a week later. It, too, was colored the same red as boiled crayfish, and the people who gathered on the beach showed off their new knowledge of the subject of squids in general and Archaeoteuthis in particular. Hamish Dyer, who painted houses in town, explained that the movements of the animal's tentacles were its death throes, physical actions that were unconnected to thoughts or intention. And then one of the tentacles reached up and wrapped itself around him, and he couldn't say anything at all. We saw the video on the evening news. It was blurry, but one could see the bulk of the creature rising up suddenly on the sand, its red mantle pointed skyward. It pushed backwards into the water, lifting poor Hamish into the air. In an instant, he was out over the bay, held strangely aloft over the water. He could not scream, but it was possible, even from a distance, to see the fear in his eyes, and to imagine that that fear came not just from the inevitability of his own drowning, but from a vision of some terrible future that he alone could see. This all happened in February, when the weather was mild and warm. At night, I'd put you in the pram and walk you to the cemetery where your mother was and is. My intentions were not morose. The grass in the cemetery was tended to and soft, and the headstones made good braces for you to raise yourself on. Sometimes you would get halfway up and then pause, looking at the place where your hand touched the cool stone. Sometimes your hand would pass over the indentations of your mother's name, and I would say it out loud so that you'd know it. The squid came on a clear night. The beach lit pale by nearly full moon. For a time, they stood on their arms and tentacles in the shallow water, their mantles raised like spears, their side fins rippling like sheets catching the wind. Hundreds of them, perhaps 1,000. The first people who noticed were 2 tourists from America who'd parked their camper van in a lot on the west side of the beach. Not knowing who to call, but knowing their Lonely Planet guide to New Zealand made no mention of what to do when squid gather on a beach. The Americans fled to the town center, where they honked the horn of their van until lights came on in the houses. But by then, the squid were advancing. They crossed the last stretch of water and came onto the sand, and there they adjusted to a new equilibrium, one in which the weight of their flesh was not buoyed by salt water. Some of them toppled like trees. Others flailed their arms around, trying to find the same smooth friction in air that exists in water. Some called out in frustration a loud barking sound that was half Kia and half dog, that sound heard previously by whales and cod and drowned men. That was the season I couldn't fall asleep in the house. I imagined that some part of your mother's life continued there, a spirit staying half the time that wasn't hers and should have been. You will not remember this, but there were many nights that we slept out in the cemetery, resting on top of the place where your mother was. We spent so many nights like that, me holding you in that safe dark, hiding on the ground that gave the illusion that the 3 of us were not yet apart. I think of then, and I think of where you are now, of the life you're leading. You've told me about the city where you live, and the crowds of people around you. You explain the classes you're taking, and the concerts you've attended, and the museums you've seen. You say the names that are familiar now, flatmates and friends who share your life the way I once did. And what I want to know most are the simple things, what your room looks like, and where you buy groceries, and how long hot water lasts in the tank. And I want to know the unanswerable part, the part about what it's like to be so far from home, from us. It was a sound that woke me, that sound that wasn't Kia or dog. I was lying there curled in the soft ground of the cemetery, and you were not with me. I stood up and looked at the row of headstones and saw you at the end of it, 100 yards away, and moving around you were dozens of squid, all different sizes and species, their mantles flashing from red to orange and then to a dark purple. I remember that their eyes were black, so much that they seemed to take light from the stars above us, from everything. Their arms moved in uncertain tangles beneath them, and you moved uncertainly among those tangles, a small form still unafraid of this life. I watched as the giant squid closest to you lifted one of its tentacles and reached for you, and I remembered what your mother said, that it was to do the 2 parts, protect you and comfort you both. I saw that tentacle go around you once and then twice. I looked at the squid, into its eye, and the black of it rotated to a yellow, and I knew that I was being seen by the most complex optical organ on the planet, by an eye connected to a mind that knew what it was like to live in perpetual darkness, always pressed upon by the weight of the sea. The giant squid called. and I knew what it was saying. That all hope for knowledge about what is to come is false and impossible. It opened its beak, and it said, "Is this what you want? This," it said, "I will take her, and wrap her, and carry her. I will do that so that she will not know what it is to stand or run, or know that the heaviest grief of this life is that it is always passing, always ending. Just give the word, just say it, and I will take her and carry her down."
All right. Okay, we got a French horn coming up. But, Eli.
What is it, Budge?
So what did the snake say when he heard a funny joke?
That's hysterical.
No. I think the horn will be loud enough.
Is that a fancy kazoo?
Okay, I was gonna wear my mask. 1 second, this one's not gonna work. So, this is the romanza movement from the 4th Mozart horn concerto.
the end, but not quite. We got some more talent coming up. But before we get to that, Eli.
If it isn't the Joker.
That's right. So I can't figure out, why does the spider keep crawling across the computer keyboard?
Because he wanted to make a website.
Muriel. Can't get worse than that. I hope this it might fall in.
So how's this?
Yeah?
All right. So this is a very short Norwegian folk song that I learned just under 60 years ago. As I understand it, it's a courting song. The young man is interested in the young woman, and she is kind of shy and off-put by him. And then she kind of gets over being so shy, and in the end, they're together. You know, a courting song. Oh, hey, except they go do simple make. Oh, hey, except they go do simple make. Oh, hi, oh, he'll run to cut a lot of head on that make. Oh, hey, little they go do fill make. Oh, hey, little they go do fill make. Oh, hi, oh, he'll run to cut a lot of head on that make. La la, la 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 la. La la, la 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 la. La la, la 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 la.
All right, before we get to Leslie, Eli, what is that princess that talks really fast?
Rapunzel.
I'm not responsible for that. Leslie, do you need a? I think it's okay.
Okay, how's this? How's this? How's this? How's this? Find me too. So as many of you may know, or maybe you don't know, I have taken the year off community life. I was on no committees. I've done nothing but show up for meals because I really, really, really want to finish this novel and stories that I'm working on. So this is what I'm calling an interstitial piece. That sounds really weird. 800 words, and I don't know, we'll have to talk shop later, Dave, but the way pieces start for me is there's one little thing that catches my attention. So there's one little thing that caught my attention in our neighborhood. This is 800 words. 10 of those words are what caught my attention. So I invite you, if you're interested, to listen for what you think might be the thing that sparked this piece for me, and tell me later. I'll be curious to hear. The only thing you need to know about this piece, it's speculative fiction, so it's set in a future world. There's something called the spills, which are a big release of toxic bad things, but that's the only thing you probably shouldn't be able to, you wouldn't know otherwise. How the cat came to live with the boiler keeper. The cat had not always lived with the boiler keeper. The first human she lived with was a young girl whose small fingers had fitted exactly in the divots behind the cat's ears and scratched with precisely the right amount of pressure of small but sharp fingernail. The girl was 7 and used her hands to excavate, to create, to smash, to slit things apart. This girl always had her bedroom window open, which was how the cat came to live with her. The cat had been trapped on the porch roof by an aggressive possum mama who'd snarled every time she tried to edge down. When it began to rain, the cat had huddled beneath the girl's window so the eaves would catch the worst of it, and she'd heard the girl singing, not a real song, Not a hymn, not a chant, not a working man's round, just the tuneful humming of a child whose parents played the piano, mother, and cello, father. Then the girl had leaned out of the window. If her parents had seen her, they would have been worried, but of course, so much of childhood happens out of sight of parents. And the girl had said, "Hello, Rain," and then seen the cat. "Kitty," she said, "Kitty, come in." She patted the windowsill, and the cat considered. This was a human, but a small one, who hummed in a soft voice. The cat jumped to the windowsill and was rewarded with a warm, dry bed for the first night in months. But the cat didn't consider herself tamed. She still secured most of her own meals, although when the girl let her lick the bowl that held mac and cheese, it was uncommonly good. For a year, the cat lived on and off again in the girl's bedroom, always leaving before the mother could find her, always burying her scat in a new place so the father wouldn't suspect. It was the best year of the cat's life. And the girl would remember it the same way. It was the year before the spills, the year before her parents had pulled her out of bed on a night when the cat was out hunting, jammed a coat on over her nightclothes, and told her to pick two things she loved the most they had to leave. And the girl said, "But I love the cat the most." And her parents were confused. She had no stuffed animals that were cats. She had no book about cats. She had no cat figurines. The girl tried to explain herself, but her parents couldn't comprehend how much they didn't know about their daughter's life. And eventually the mother said in a panic, "What or whoever this imaginary cat is, you have to leave it, pick something else." The girl chose her pillow and the hodgepodge book. The pillow was lost before they arrived at higher ground. The book she held on to for all the years of her life. And the memory of the cat curled roundly beside her, a solid warmth vibrating with the purr of its pleasure. She remembered that, too. As the spills made a lake of everything, the cat climbed a tree. Over the next month, the cat thinned to spine and tail and had an equally thin teenager throw stones at it, and stayed thin when the spills receded, as there were few remaining mice, moles, voles, rats, chipmunks, or rabbits. The human trash was full of scraped clean packets of glop. The cat had become ill after licking the inside of one of those packets. Later, when the cat saw a large yard that filled with young humans like the girl twice a day, she observed it cautiously. She stuck to the periphery, moving slowly through the swamp grass and catching just enough beetles and grasshoppers the first day to quell the pangs in her belly and convince her to sleep in an abandoned skunk hole instead of moving on. The next morning, the boiler keeper set a bowl outside his ground level window to catch the drips from the eaves to water his peace lily with. It happened to be a bowl in which he'd made mac and cheese. He too found the packet glop disgusting and had his own sources to stock his modest pantry. And when the cat found the bowl and drank the water, faintly flavored with cheddar, durum, flour, and milk, the memory of the girl flooded back. And when she saw the man's arm and hand come out of the window and retrieve the bowl, it looked like a friendly hand. And so she meowed, just a small meow. And the hand withdrew, and the boiler keeper's face appeared. And as softly as the girl had, he said, "Kitty, Kitty, come in."
No.
Nice. Well, this is the last number coming up. Before I introduce it and tell you another one of these crazy riddles, I want to thank everybody for participating, all the desserts. Jocelyn for
I ate a lot of them, by the way.
Organizing the talent, all the talent for their brave participation, and I don't know, for everybody who came. It's fun to see hidden talent, and I enjoy it. And so thanks for participating.
Thank you.
Hey, Eli.
For the last time, what is it?
Okay, for the last time, what do you call a grizzly bear in a light rain?
A drizzly bear.
All right. Can I help?
Do you need a chair?
Yeah. Oh, stool? They're in the kitchen?
I can give you
It's over.
songs, yeah?
2 songs.
Okay.
I set it down.
This one? No.
Tell us a joke.
You guys have a name?
No.
The Jew.
Is he doing back with the lyrics?
She is.
Yes.
J's and S's.
Should go on the road.
We're ready.
1, 2, 3, 4.
My hair had a party last night. Must have got into a terrible fight. 'Cause when my head hit the pillow, it was looking alright. My hair had a party last night. My hair had a party last night. When I lay down, everything was alright. It started out friendly, but there must have been a fight. My hair had a party last night. Early in the morning, I got out of my bed. The birdies are singing outside. There's waffles on the table and a cold glass of milk. I got a warm, happy feeling inside. I can't wait to go to school, and I love myself. I'm the captain of the football team. The alarm goes off, and I hear Mom yelling, and I realize it must have been a dream. Oh, my hair had a party last night. It must have got into a terrible fight. 'Cause when my head hit the pillow, it was looking alright. My hair had a party last night. My hair had a party last night. When I lay down, everything was alright. It started out friendly, but there must have been a fight. My hair had a party last night. Okay, everybody, make your hair have a party. Put your fingers in it, mess it all up. All right, now, with consent, make your neighbor's hair have a party. Picked up a brush, I picked up a comb. I look at the scissors, but I leave them alone. There's a lizard that lives in the rocks by the sea. This morning that lizard looks a lot like me. I try to wet it down, but it only makes it worse. The cowlick in the back is a family curse. I picked up a cap and I